dudes, this is Sandy Johnson, Judith Myers in the original 1978 Halloween, and you're listening to Tommy Throwback Kovac on Splat from the Past. You like girls, Tommy? No one's home. Let's go upstairs.
Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now today, I will be welcoming my first guest, and I'm so excited. I didn't think I was going to get anybody from this classic. My first guest from the 1975 landmark summer blockbuster Steven Spielberg classic, Jaws, Alex Kinter himself, Jeffrey Voorhees. Yes, I have got Jeffrey Voorhees coming on the show today to talk about his memories of making Jaws and, playing with that pesky shark. There's so many stories I've heard about that shark and how difficult he was and stuff. And talk about, what became of him afterwards. I know he owns a restaurant in Massachusetts called the Wharf Pub. I'm going to find out a lot more about that and stuff. And I can't wait. It's going to be pretty awesome. I am the happiest fanboy in the whole wide world. So yeah, here is my interview with Jeffrey Voorhees. Welcome to the show, sir. How's the weather over there?
Oh, it is starting to feel like summer. I was running some dogs this morning down where I was eaten by a shark years ago, and the dogs are swimming in that water now. Well, it's warm enough now. The island is getting a little bit busier, but not as busy as usual with everything closed still.
Yeah, it's really sunny over here right now in Cali. We had a couple days of rain, storm, cloudiness, and it's gone now. Hopefully it'll stay gone for a while, I know.
I have to cut my lawn again because it's been raining so much and sunny. It's like, I got to cut my grass.
Yeah, exactly. This is such a great honor. Thank you for taking the time today.
No problem.
So, going back in time, you were, 12 when you made the movie?
Yeah, we had just moved up to Martha's Vineyard. I was 12 years old, and we got here and, was only here for a couple months and found out they were making a movie, and they said they pay you $40 a day for extras, and they needed a lot. So we just, it's a small island. We just walked down to where they were. You fill out an application, and, I was 12 years old. We filled it out, and we were going to get $40 a day just to, be in the background of the movie. And then they called a few of us back and said, read a couple lines, and you read a few lines, and go, okay, we'll give you a speaking part. You get $140 a day.
Yeah.
And that was nice, but never knew about what happens further down the road, like royalties and stuff. That's where, you're a little kid and you get a check. The first time it came on TV, it's like, what is this?
Yeah. Before that, though, did you take any interest in acting?
No, we were just little kids, and they were going to make some money being in a movie, and, they're filming it on the island, so, you get to go watch it do it, and, it was, just wanted to be part of that.
Yeah, but you'd never done at least a school play or anything?
Oh, 5th grade, you're always in a school play and stuff. I would say yes. 5th grade, that's the funny part, because some of these Jaws groups, the Amity Club, all this stuff on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah.
The year I moved here in 5th grade, one of them, that's the year they filmed the movie, and on Facebook, someone goes, take a look, and it's a picture of the 5th grade class, and it's a small island, so there's like 20 kids in it, and it's me. It's like, where do these people find a 5th grade picture of all the kids getting their class picture taken, and it was on Facebook. It wasn't from anyone on the island. It was just someone I didn't even know. It's like they found that somewhere.
Yeah.
And that this is the year he died, 5th grade.
What did your parents do?
Oh, well, they weren't in it at all. They said we could sign up, and the lady that's my mother in the movie, that was Lee Fierro. That wasn't my real mother. But
Right.
besides that, it's just a small island, and when you watch that movie, you can spot people out. It's like anyone from a doctor that's in the movie to everyone on the beach and stuff. It's funny because you just spot them out, and you watch it with people. It's like, oh, there I am, and it's just making the movie was fun because all your friends were in it, and some of us, like the sheriff's oldest son, I knew him. He had a speaking part, Chris Rebello, and we were just filming it. It was fun because we were little kids, and it's a small town, and back in the 70s when they filmed it, it's the 45th anniversary now.
Right.
They, maybe like a 5-10 minute walk from our house. It's this big building. It's like nothing in it. They store boats in it in the wintertime. It's a Eggertown Yacht Club warehouse, and they just put all these fancy boats in there in the winter.
Right.
And they made a deal. They said they could store the shark in there, and the shark's name was Bruce. And so we used to go down there at nighttime with flashlights, and this is before they had video cameras everywhere. We just, you open a window and we go in and climb all over the shark all the time.
Yeah.
It looked real. It's like, we break in and climb all over. The shark's name was Bruce. Climb all over Bruce, and it looked so real because you had the left side. There were 3 different sharks: the left side, the right side, and the top. Like on the left side machine, the whole left side of it looked like a real shark. It looked really good, and the entire part of the right side of that one was all mechanical and stuff. And then they had the other one, so if they're filming from the other side, it was the right side of the shark, and the left side was all mechanical, and same thing with the top. So it was just funny, doing all just climbing all over it, but all those other little things that you're a little kid, they would have cookouts and baseball games, and we used to go down and, filming the movie. You would have Richard Dreyfuss, Spielberg, one of his first movies, and,
right.
Richard Dreyfuss, those guys would be down at these cookouts and stuff, and then you see, wait, there's Robert Shaw over there, and he was just like he was in the movies,
Yeah.
Be like 1 in the afternoon, they're having some little cookout, baseball game, and you run over to him, and he was just like in the movie. You could tell he was a little intoxicated. Hey, how's it going? Get away from me, you little, and I can't repeat what he said. And as soon as he said that once or twice, every time we saw him, we had to run up, and we knew it pissed him off, so we had fun doing those kind of things.
Yeah. Did you see any of the legendary tension between Robert Shaw and Richard Dreyfuss?
Oh, they hid that pretty good. Filming it, we were just little kids, so they kind of were hiding that from the kids probably. And, when they were filming the parts that you were in, you were right there doing it.
Right.
And it's a small island, so like where if they were filming another part, you just walk down and watch them filming it. And there's a little parade scene, if you remember the movie.
Right.
Little kids. And I had just moved to the island and joined the Eggertown Drum and Bugle Boys and Girls Club. It's like, so I played the drums in that, and that was in the movie too. So they got everyone in that band that be in the parade, a little parade. And it's funny when you watch it, it goes the wrong way up the street. It's a one-way street, and the movie goes the wrong way. And they weren't going to let me be in that part. And Spielberg and stuff said, wait a minute, he's still alive in that scene. In that scene, he's still alive. He hasn't been eaten yet, so they let me be in that part too. So that was fun.
No, that's cool. Yeah.
You get to be banging on the drums and stuff. But
yeah,
then they did all the other parts that they did. When they had the shark hanging up, and they said, "Oh, cut it open, the Kinter boy will spill out all over the dock."
Yeah.
And that scene, it's like they shipped that thing all the way up from Florida. Back in the 70s, it's not put on ice and flown up overnight. They had that thing, it's like in the back of a truck all the way up from Florida. And where they had that hanging up down on the harbor here in Eggertown in Amity, Martha's Vineyard, you could smell that thing all the way up at the school because it was so rotted and stuff. It's like, oh, yeah, that shark is still hanging down there.
Yeah.
So lots of little things like that. It was funny. And then when school gets out, you go watch them film another part because it's small. You just move around. ride your bike out to State Beach where they filmed a lot of it.
Yeah. I've heard, too, that because the special effects were so limited back then, Bruce was very difficult.
Yeah, because Bruce broke down a lot, and I do a bunch of these signings. I never used to do them, and then the people I do it with, I told them I do it 3 or 4 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing one in New York like a year and a half ago, and, you know, the people from the magazine Field and Stream,
mm-hmm.
they have a shark tournament down in Florida, in Tampa in July. So last July, they saw me at this other signing in New York, and they said, oh, we have a shark tournament down in Florida, in Tampa, next July, and we have the lady that was eaten by a shark before you. Her name's Susan. And
Yes.
so we're thinking maybe both of you, they fly you down there. We'll have 2 people eaten by a shark at the shark tournament signing pictures. It's like, so it's funny. So they wanted both of us there because we were eaten by a shark to sign pictures at a shark tournament.
Mm-hmm.
But so just little things like that are fun because, you know, they fly you down there. I was supposed to do one up in Toronto a couple weeks ago, but the virus and all this stuff, so
Yeah.
cancel that. Then there's one in North Carolina, that's canceled. The other one that's still going on, I think, is there's one in England in the fall. But
Mm-hmm.
just doing these signings, it's funny because you get some real jaws. People come to some of those from all over the place. It's like in New York, this one down there.
Mm-hmm.
People come up to the table and the people that do it, they have all the pictures and you just sign them. And, you know, there's 20 different pictures and people will come up and say, oh, do you get a deal if you get all of them? And the people the lady, she's like, well, that's 20, that would be $800, $750 you get all of them. And a lot of people would do that. And then you would have some real fanatics that would bring in the actual posters that they would have back in the 70s. And it was signed by almost everyone. He's like, you're one of the only ones. And this one guy, he had it all tape where he wanted me to sign. And he goes, well, how do you write your name? It's like, what are you talking about? He's like, well, can you write it first? It's like, and the girl that does it, she's like, she gives me a piece of paper. And I go, okay, here we go. I sign my name. You're pressing down too hard. It's like, what the heck? It's like, can you spread the letters out a little more? It's like, so finally it's like, okay, so hey, don't go over that line. It's like, so you get some people like that, and then others, you know the raft that floats up on the beach after?
Yeah.
The little pieces. This one guy in New York, he had like all the pieces he bought that float up on the beach.
Oh.
And in his briefcase that had a lock on it, he opens it up and he wanted me to sign each one of the raft that floated up on the beach. And then another, this is New York was unreal how many people. This other guy, you know the barrels, the yellow ones that go underwater?
I think so, yeah.
The barrel, he had one of the barrels that it was signed by heavy. He's like, you're one of the only ones that hasn't signed it yet. And this thing was heavy, so I signed the barrel and all that. And then he's like, I'm going, you going to go put that back in your car now? He's like, no, someone will steal it. So he was carrying that around all day long down there. But then you get the real for that. There's one girl, you know, people would make little posters, reward for the Kinter boy, and just sign that. Or this one girl, she says,
yeah,
you sign right under here. And she pulls her shirt down a little bit, right under the collarbone. And I was like, well, why? She goes, no, right under the collarbone. I go, well, it's just going to come off in a couple days. You're going to pay just for a couple days. No, I'm meeting up with Peter later. He's going to tattoo over it. It's like, okay, here you go. It's like, so you get some interesting people out there.
Oh, yeah, never a dull moment with the fans.
No, and if that TV, something I never knew, that you've got royalty, you got to check anytime it's on TV. And like my brother, he lived over in Europe for years. I would get little text messages. Good news, you just died on TV over here, because you get a little check. But in this restaurant, the Wharf Pub and Restaurant, people, they know now with the internet, you get people coming in just looking because they know I work here.
Yeah.
And like these people came in last summer, and the waitress says, oh, they have something they want you to sign. I thought it's just a photo or something. Some people bring graphs in, and when I go over, it's like, oh, what do we got here? And if it's on TV, you get a royalty check, and it's from Universal Studios, and it says how much Screen Actor Guild gets, how much the the government gets, how much you get, Social Security, all that. Then it was what network it was showing on. And you rip that bottom piece off that tells you all the details, your name, CBS or whatever, and throw that away. And the other part you cash. And the people in the restaurant, they had something in the frame. I go, what is this? And I look at it. It's like 1987 Jeff Voorhees episode, Jaws, CBS, and it says the date, when it was shown, the amount, taxes, all that. It's like something I threw in the trash back in the 80s. I'm like, where the hell did you get this? Oh, on eBay on an auction. And I was like, how much did you pay for something I threw away? And they paid $8,700 for it. It's like,
wow.
People that will just, they really love that movie.
Yeah, obviously. What was Spielberg like? Because he was pretty young back then. He had done the Sugarland Express and Duel, but nobody knew who he was yet. Yeah,
it was one of his first big ones, and you know, he was really nice. That's why they would have cookouts, baseball. He was like, oh, let's just do something, and like filming it. He tried to get it all perfectly because the place they film it, I was just down there a couple hours ago because you ever hear the thing Cameo?
Yes.
I was doing a Cameo, and people love it because I go down to the beach where I was eating and just send back the Cameo to them. And I always mention that's where I was eating down on the beach there. Spielberg, you know, Dreyfus is sitting on the beach watching me go out, and then I asked my mother to go back in, and then Spielberg was saying, okay, this water, they filmed it in May, and on this island up at the Northeast, you don't want to go in that water until July. It's freezing. So everyone's like, were you afraid of the shark? It's like, no, I was afraid to go in that cold water. And Spielberg, he was like saying, you know, you'd ask your mother to go back in the water, and after you beg her to go back in, she'll let you go, and then take the raft and start swimming out. And he was showing me exactly out, like maybe 50 yards out from where I go in the water with the raft. He goes, there's something out there you really can't see until you get real close to it. It's like the size of a barrel. Yeah. And he goes, swim out to that thing, and then I'll say cut. And I'm like, what? He goes, this thing is full of blood, and it's a machine that blows it all up in the air. And he was just telling me, Spielberg was like, okay, now swim out to that one. When I say cut, you know, it wasn't that deep. He goes, you know, we'll come out, and they had a half a raft that looked like it. They put it over the machine. Mm-hmm. Then you lie on top of it, he told me. It's like, okay. It's like, and he goes, so I swim out on the raft after begging to go in, and then Spielberg was like, okay, cut. And you know, okay, now they put a half a raft over this machine. He goes, lie on top of it, and when it blows up, go into water and stay under there as long as you can. It's like 12 years old, freezing cold, this thing's full of blood, and so it's like, all of a sudden, blood's flying up in the air. I go in the water, stay there as long as I could, then finally swim ashore, freezing cold, because it's May, and all my friends are freezing cold because they have to run in the water a little, and Spielberg was like, no, your arm came out of the water a little. We're going to have to do it again. And he just wanted it all done perfectly, and so we would have to wait like 7 or 8 hours for all the blood to clear out of the water before we could try it again. And you know, all my friends are freezing cold, and since I had a speaking part, they treated the union and everything. You have to have a nice warm. They had like a portable dressing room that you just go sit in and stay warm. All my friends is freezing cold outside. I messed up, and I'm in a nice warm place. It's like, oh, sorry about that. And then Spielberg would say, okay, we'll try it again. And we tried it again the second time. All your leg was out of the water a little, and then the movie was costing more and more than they had planned, and the shark wasn't working a lot, and Spielberg was like, you know, they're spending too much, and he said, let's try it again. And 5 days later, he came up with an idea. He goes, this time, when you swim out there, well, it's going to blow up, and you know, so this time I'm used to the thing blowing up by this time. It's freezing cold, and because this time we have 2 guys in wetsuits, and they have air tanks, and they're gonna. When that thing blows up, you're going to feel them grab your leg. Each one have one leg, and they're going to lift you in and out of the water a few times and pull you under and give you air. And it's like, okay, let's try that. And so that's why in the movie you see me going up and down.
Yeah.
These two guys have me underwater, lifting me up and down, pull me underwater and get air. Like, so it finally worked after 5 days, and Spielberg was all happy about that, and they moved on. So like with that shark breaking down, and like the person that made the shark at signing in Florida, they had him down there too, talking about the shark that he put together and how much it broke down. And the one down there, you have to talk. They give you a microphone, and you have to talk, answer questions. I never knew that part, because it's not just a signing. They pay you a little extra just to get up on stage and talk and answer questions. And he was up there talking about how hard it was. That shark kept breaking down and the cost of it. And after he was saying how it broke down so much, it was my turn, and people would ask questions, and I say, well, I guess I'm going to have to be honest. We were little kids back then, and maybe it didn't work that great, because we used to break in every night and climb all over that shark. Maybe we did some damage to it, and he looked so bad. Just telling the honest truth, we used to climb all over Bruce's shark in there.
Do you have
like the lady Lee Fierro? She was really nice. That was my mother in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And she was from the island, and so when Obama, Clinton, they came down every year.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of years ago, Obama's last year. Oh, Good Morning America. They said, we got Lee Fierro do an interview about Jaws, and I said, well, if she's going to do it, I'll do it with her. And we did it down on the beach, and they were asking me some questions, and then her, and they said to her, so people we heard that people for years would ask you to slap them in the face.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she goes, yes, people from all over the place. You just say, come on, can you slap me in the face? And so she goes, yes, I did that. And after 10 years, I finally said, I'm not doing that anymore. And so then I was talking, I go, well, I'm going to interrupt for a minute. I go, come on, you're my mother. I'm going to ask a favor. Slap me in the face. And the guy behind the camera shaking his head, yes. And she goes, what? I go, come on, slap me in the face like you did in the movie. And so she gives me a little tap, and I go, no, like in the movie, and bam, she hit me hard.
Mm-hmm.
And when the movie was all done, they were like, oh, we only have 2 minutes on that Good Morning America tomorrow, but this part, it will be on the internet, because that was it was fun just seeing Lee Fierro once in a while. And the restaurant, the wharf here, we had a Alex Kinter burger on the menu for a while. And, and these two ladies came in. It's like, that's Lee Fierro. I've not seen her in years. And I told the waitress, I got this table, and it was this time of the year. It's before the season really got going. And I went down, and she recognized me, but she knew I was just joking around. I went down. I said, okay, ladies, what can I get for you? And there's 2 or 3 other tables, and her friends looking at me like, hey, well, we're thinking of... I go, before we go any further, I'm going to ask you a very personal, odd question. Tell me to go away if it's too strange. And her friend looks at me like, what is this guy talking about? And she just got a little grin on her face like, what? I go, do you believe in reincarnation? Because I think I died years ago, and you look like my mother in my previous life. And her friend looked at me like I'm crazy, and some other people heard it, and they're looking at me. And then also she's like, oh, my God, I had a son that died back in the 70s. And her friend looks at her, and then all of a sudden everyone's like, what are these two nuts doing? And then she's like, my son died out in the ocean. I go, I think I was out there, too. She goes, how'd you die? I go, I think I was killed by an animal. She was like, were you eating? I go, I just don't remember. I think I was killed by an animal. Was it a shark? I go, that might be it. She goes, you're my son. And she gets up and hugs me.
Yeah.
And then she tells us, hey, we were in that movie years ago. It's like her friend was about to have a heart attack. It was funny.
Oh, that's sweet. I like that. Yeah.
Just little things like that. So you get all these little things about the movie in the past that, you still, this island, people come down from all over the world just to, see where they filmed it, and now they know exactly who's still here. Last year, this one guy, my neighbor was like, some guy from the New York Police Department's been at your house a few times. It's like, what? It's like, and then finally I'm like thinking, is this something like, I remember I stole a flag back in New York when in college days. It's like, and finally the guy shows up, oh, I'm with the K9 and I brought you a T-shirt, and he had a bunch of pictures he wanted me to sign. And like, oh my God, it's like, I was all nervous about it. So it's like, oh, fine, I'll sign a couple of them. And then he goes, I'll give you a shirt. It's like, okay. And then it's like sliding me some money. It's like, oh, and so, you know, it's just funny that some people like that. And then I'm not sure if you ever go on the internet, there's a Wharf Pub, and this one guy that years ago he did it says the Wharf Pub on the front, and the back it says, it's a big Jaws thing in the back, and it shows a little kid on the raft, and it says the Kinter boy is still alive at the wharf. And he made this years ago, and it looked like a little kid on the raft, and last year he updated. He goes, I updated it. Let's do it again. He goes, this update, you'll like it. It looks more realistic. And I was like, wow, let's see. And he showed it to me, and the little kid on the raft is missing a lot of hair. I go, oh, that looks more like it. It's updated. And he goes, I'm going to put it on Facebook this year. I go, no, don't do that because it's going to be insane. He goes, no, I'll put it on Facebook. I go, if you put that on Facebook, I'll sign the damn shirts, but I'm not going to start mailing because this island, Amity Island, Martha's Vineyard, the post office, you're in line for an hour if you just want to mail something. And he's like, oh, I'll go to the post office, and you put it on Facebook, and it's like, even up to today, it's like almost once every couple days the phone rings, and like the other day, it's like, okay, here you go, Will, you go mail it. It's like there was one in England, two in Germany, one in somewhere in London, and it's like, I'll sign them, but you have to go stand in that line now and mail these things. It's like, so it's just funny. You have people from, and it's just from with the internet from all over the world. It's like today. It was yesterday. I got a cameo from this one girl from England saying, "Oh, it's my husband's birthday. Oh, he's a big Jaws fan, and we're stuck inside so much. Can you send him a birthday wish?" And so it's like, okay, so I'm out there doing the, happy birthday. I do it right down on the beach where I died. I love my dogs down there. It's like, from the Dead Alice Kinter, here's where they filmed it. And I go, send out the wish, happy birthday from, and then this morning, the day after, I get another one. It's like, this name looks familiar. Oh, you sent me a birthday wish, and that was so great. It's my husband's birthday next week. Can you do it for him, too? It's like, you want me to do this? So this time I didn't do it where I died. It's like I went down to the dock with that little boat that goes across, and Brody's talking about making signs and closing the beaches.
Yeah.
So these people, they liked it because I, did it in a different place. So they would, I'll make it better than the one he made for me. It's like, and she was all happy about that.
Did you go to a screening or the premiere for the movie?
No, they asked, back then it was hard to get around a lot, and we were kids, so we just waited till it came out, and first time I saw it was here on Amity Island, and the movie theater on this little island burnt down like the year before I got here, so the movie theater was a big building, well, not big building, it's a big room in the town hall, so that's where I saw it the first time, in the town hall watching it. But it's fun watching the movie because if you know the island at all, like, where there's a scene where you're driving down a beach and you go around this big corner and then it says, "Welcome to Amity," a big sign. And the big turn you take in the road, that's on one side of the island, Eggertown, down where I was eaten by Jaws on State Beach. And you go around the corner, you should be downtown in Eggertown. But in the movie, you go around the corner, all of a sudden you're on the other side of the island. Welcome to Amity. It's like, so you spot little things like, wait a minute, this is not right. Or the parade going the wrong way, or just spotting little things like, oh, I remember that. That's where, a friend's house, or that's where we did this or that. It's just fun watching it because you know the island so well.
So as soon as it comes out and it breaks box office records and becomes the biggest hit movie of all time at that point, did you get recognized every day?
Back then doing it before internet and stuff. You know, in the summer, this island's it's a madhouse in the summer, and like on the island now, it's I think 15,000 here year round, and in the summer it's 365,000, and that's not including day trippers. But they started way back then. They would have Jaws tours and stuff and take people around. So like people didn't spot it, you know, as much as today, because now with the internet, it's people would come down and they come to the island just because they want to see where they filmed Jaws, and they still have tours and stuff.
Of course.
And that's where like some people would come in the restaurant and like, oh, it's Jeff Voorhees, and they said, oh no, he's not here right now. He was it's his day off, and these people, they were from England, and they said, oh well, we traveled all the way over here because we wanted to see where they filmed it and see a couple people. And they're like, oh, sorry. And then finally, this guy I do some of the signings was like, make these guys happy. Sign up with a Cameo. So as soon as they did that, it's like those people that were in here that missed me. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, they told me you're on Cameo, so at least we'll get to talk to you this way. So it's just funny that, you know, now with computers, and it's just, back then you would see people in the summertime come down and just want to, they would know where you are. Somehow they would find you, and they would come down. But nowadays, you have people come down year round, or they'll call and say, we're coming down. Is there any way you're going to be down there? And like this one gentleman, he comes every year, brings like some different people every year. And he's like, can we go down and meet at the bridge where you died? And at first it's like, okay. And every time he comes, he always gives me like $500 just to go down and take pictures with a couple different people he brings down. I don't know if he does tours and I just got a message from him. It's like, oh, we're coming down on Friday. It's like, and he's really nice. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll meet you down there. You know, he knows I brought my dog there in the morning. So it's like, I don't have to set up times. He like knows I'm at the beach.
Yeah. So, leading up to the Wharf Pub, what did you do after the movie?
Oh, well, I was just a little kid, so it was funny because, you know, back then kids worked. So if you know Martha's Vineyard, and it's also famous for another little accident, not a shark attack, but the Dyke Bridge, Ted Kennedy, and people would come down just to see where Ted Kennedy, you know, there was like a murder on Chappaquiddick. And I used to work on that little boat that went over there. And people would go over and chip off little pieces of the bridge. And then finally, you know, a couple of years later, they came down to do Jaws 2 down here. And we were like, all right, and we all went down, signed up again. And then they get to me, and they're like, wait a minute. They're like, you can't be in this thing. It's like, why not? They go, you were in that first movie. You died in the first movie. It's like, yes. I go, but I'm older now. I look different. And they're like, no, if the media ever found out about it, you ruined the movie. And it's like, my head went down. All my friends were in the second one. I couldn't be in it. Oh, well. But besides that, you know, just little things over the years and the signings and stuff. I used to always avoid those things, but it's fun because I told them I do it 3 or 4 times a year, and they fly you all over the world. One time I was in Germany. I'll be over in England. You know, they pay for the flights and do all that. It's fun to get out once in a while.
It says on IMDb that for a little bit you were a inventory supervisor on the daytime soap opera Santa Barbara.
What's that?
It says that on IMDb.com that you were a inventory supervisor on the daytime soap opera Santa Barbara.
Yeah, now there's a few things on over the years, you know, some interviews that I've done, you know, these people from Australia that were down last year, they were like telling me about some other movie I was in. It's like, I hate to tell you, that wasn't me. I don't know, there's other movies that I told I was in, and then it's just movies or shows that I was on, or it's like, no, it's mainly Jaws, and they used a clipping of the movie and a movie tearing the aisle. So I go, that's the only other one, but besides that, it's just funny that,
Yeah.
it's the 45th anniversary now.
Yep.
And some of these people I do the signings with, they're like, this year, the 45th anniversary, it's funny. Some people know every little detail about that movie, and they're like, there's only, I think she said, 7 or 8 people still alive from when they filmed it. And they're like, we're going to, during the 45th anniversary, try to get like 4 or 5 of you to sign together because, more people come to the table. It's like, well, I told you I'll do 3 or 4 a year, so, you can count me in. And they like, I did it with Susan, the one that died first. And the one in New York, Richard Dreyfuss is down at that one. They're like, when you're doing those signings and stuff, they're going, okay, when, you can, if you want to take a break, eat or drink, whatever you want, it's all part of it. And I go, so I can just have a nice drink at the table, bring me over some wine. They're going, yes. And they go, Richard Dreyfuss, he would be drinking at some of those. And they would show me the signature. You couldn't even read it, by the end of the day after the sign, because you're there for like 8 hours just signing pictures. And It would show me some of the pictures. And at the beginning, you could read his name well. At the end,
yeah.
But I guess that it was like all just scribble.
Yeah. It's crazy. Doing this podcast for 3 years, I have found a lot of inaccuracies on the internet with guests. But what year did the Wharf Pub open?
Oh, well, the Wharf Pub, I've been here for about 25 years or so.
Wow.
And, it's, I've been on the island, this is the 45th anniversary of Jaws, and that's pretty much, a few months earlier, that's when I moved in here.
Mm-hmm.
And this island, it's a madhouse in the summer, but it's nice and quiet in the winter, and, that's why I like it so much. And, so it's a fun place. You're a workaholic for a couple months of the year, and then the rest of the year, take it easy. And, back then, as I was saying, little things like Chappie Ferries or a lot of little jobs that kids doing. And then, some of these people that do Jaws tours, they're always like, there's one guy that does it on a boat, Adam, who was like, it's funny. I told him I'd do it because he's a friend, and he'd take people out on his boat and take them, this is where the orca goes down. And part of the whole thing is they say they'll have Alice Kinter on the boat, and he goes, I'll have a cooler full of beer. You can drink as much as you want. That's part of because he said, this cooler, you can have a drink with Alice Kinter out on the boat. But it's just funny, some of those things. And people from, kids who come in all the time with, drafts that look just like it in the movie or shorts. And you got people that, they just want anything they can signed. And it's like, okay, I'll sign you a pair of shorts. I don't know where you got them. Or we play poker here. Mm-hmm. And one time, there's 6 or 7 of us up in the office area far away from the bar and restaurant. And one of the bartenders comes up with this girl that was a little intoxicated, and she wants an autograph. And I'm like, what? It's like, just tell her to come back tomorrow. No, she wants you to sign now. And then when they'll let her come up, and so they let her come up, and bam, she pulls the shirt up, sign right here. It's like, oh my God. Nah, you got some crazy Jaws fans out there.
Absolutely, yeah. Do you guys have the best fish and chips in town?
Oh, known for that. The chowder always wins the chowder award, and it's this place here, it's winter time, you have like 20 people working, and in the summertime, it's more like 120 people working. It's a busy summer, and it's known for the rowdy, there's a band every night in the summer. Winter, there's no entertainment, but summer, there's a band every night. Not one bartender on a night like the winter, but 6 bartenders. Winter, the bartenders close up, and summer you're there to the end. You have 5 bouncers on. Mm-hmm. It's a little different in the summer and winter here.
Yeah, I used to be a bouncer in a British pub that had really good fish and chips. It's been around since 1955, and that's
Oh
it.
yeah, and you were a bouncer there.
I was bouncer there 2.5 years. Yep, in San Mateo, California. It's called the Swinging Door. It used to be called the Prince of Wales.
Prince of Wales. There you go.
Yeah. So how's the business? How's business during quarantine?
Not it's a small island where the rules and regulations are tough, and like right now, all we're doing is to-go food, and it's slowly getting busier down here. They're just starting to let restaurants and stuff open up again, and this year is not going to be the same. There won't be any bands and entertainment because that's where you're going to have hundreds of people where the bands play in this one bar.
Mm-hmm.
And like only half the tables are going to eventually be used, but they're going to close off some of the streets and move tables outside onto the streets, which should be nice. And so hopefully they get this going quick enough so get by this summer, and then after that, take it from there. We're open year round, so I feel bad for a lot of these. There's a lot of restaurants that are tiny. They have like 6 or 7 tables in there, and they're only open seasonal, and tables have to be 6 feet apart, so they could only have like 2 tables in there. It's like, yeah, this could be tough.
Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully things will turn around and the business will pick up again. You guys can get the bands and the entertainment back.
That will all be here at some point. Just hopefully sooner than later. We'll keep our fingers crossed this doesn't it all spikes up again, and hopefully it all gets cleaned up sooner or later. Sooner than later, should we say.
Yeah, and hopefully the conventions will be back up again. I see some of them are going to go off without a hitch, hopefully next month and stuff, and maybe I'll get to meet you at one in the future.
Well, yeah, there's one in North Carolina. I think that one was canceled, and there's one in United Kingdom. That's the one that the person that I do it with, she was like, yeah, that one's still on. So it's like, just let me know when they cancel it or if they cancel it, so I can plan around it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Jeff, I thank you so much for coming on today, and best of luck with your business over there. I know it's a very hard time, and hopefully I'll get to meet you at a convention in the future.
Oh yeah, if you're ever down on Martha's Vineyard, Amity Island, stop by, say hello.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's no way I wouldn't go by there if I was down there.
Yeah, it's a small island. You wouldn't have much of a choice. There'll be 2 of them that 2 of the 7 towns aren't dry, so we're one of the 2 that you can get a drink at.
Yeah. I don't drink anymore because I had a really bad accident 5 years ago and stuff. But I would definitely come down at least for a Coke or something.
Oh yeah, Coke and a fish and chip.
Yes, Coke and fish and chips. Yes. All right, you have yourself a good night over there.
Okay, good luck with everything with you.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
Yep, have a good one.
Well, there you have it. Jeffrey Voorhees. Ain't he a cool dude? Nice guy, very passionate about the vineyard, the life in the sea there. Yeah, that's so fucking cool, I have to say. He's a really nice guy. I like him a lot. If you like this video, everyone, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, add me as a friend on Facebook, join my Tommy Kovac comedian page on Facebook, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and all that fun stuff. Well, that's all time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying, there's no shame in living in the past, because the present sucks. Later, dudes. Dun-dun, dun-dun, dun-dun. Dun 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 dun.